Hey there, Sarah with you with NextGenMedium.com, a whole network of things for you to discover your psychic abilities. Today we are talking about the source. What does the source have to do with your psychic abilities? Well, it has a lot to do with your psychic abilities. What do I know about the source? It has a lot of names. I really don't know that much. Or do I? We're gonna find out this week on NextGen Medium vlog. Oh, by the way, I'm Sarah Nickerson. I'm a psychic medium. I'm the founder of NextGenMedium.com blog, vlog, podcast that talks about everything to do with you becoming aware of your psychic abilities and for you to find what your strengths are, hone in on them, and make your weaknesses even stronger. Today we are talking about the source. What is the source, Sarah? Tell us your wisdom. Sarah, what is the source? Do tell. Other names include spirit, God, divine, the divine Miss M. No, it's not. That's not one of them. There's a lot of names for the source, and this week we're just going to call it the source. Usually I call it the spirit, but I feel like there's some connotations behind it that might kind of, I don't know, freak people out. Like I'm talking about like ghosts and stuff. Or some people call it God, which I really don't do. That's not my thing. And so today we're just going to call it the source. What is so important about the source? Well, the source is kind of what links things together when it comes to using your psychic ability and the purpose of using your psychic ability and your mediumship skills, your intuition. We're going to explore that a little bit so you can get a better understanding of it. That answer, I'd have to say, I don't know much. Or at least I didn't think I knew a lot until I started writing things down for the blog post and really kind of started exploring what other people felt the source was. Because really, when it comes to the source is like God. This is the parallel. God, infinite, all-knowing, the planner, the creator, has the ultimate, I don't know, everything, knows all the things, that guy, thing, person, I don't know, consciousness. What I do know about source is it's not really too involved with what I do when it comes to my psychic mediumship activities. My everyday life. I don't sit and ponder what is the source. It really doesn't interfere, and I think that's why I really don't know a lot about the source, which is one of the reasons why I was kind of iffy about doing this subject. One of the great things about the source is that everybody can have an idea, a theory, but really when it comes to the source, it's sort of what your idea of the source is. That's what the source is. What do you connect it to? And whatever that is the answer. So you can make it up to be whatever you want. That's my understanding. Kind of out there, and it's an out there subject. Another reason why I'm kind of iffy about it. But the source does communicate with us, and that's what I'm preparing you for. I wanted to look to other people that are in the game, that are psychics and mediums, and they write books and they make a living at doing this stuff, and I wanted to see what they had to say. So I googled a bunch of these terms about this all-knowing being and really had a hard time googling and finding what I needed. So I ended up turning to books that I own. And that's when I realized that I don't have a lot of books about psychic medium stuff. I'm also a library person, so I like to go to the library and check out books. That's how I kind of like get an idea of, is this a good book? It's a good book. I'm going to put this on my list of books that I want to buy when I have money, which is never... I'm gonna keep a list. It's gonna be there. And it's gonna be there for a long time. Books that I drew from for this particular information about the source were Intuitive Studies, a complete course in mediumship by Gordon Smith, Anatomy of the Spirit, the 7 Stages of Power and Healing by Carolyn Myss. So You Want to Be a Medium, a Down-to-Earth Guide by Rose Vanden Einden. And the last book that I ended up drawing some inspiration from for this post was The 4 Purposes of Life, Finding Meaning and Direction in a Changing World by Dawn Millman. Here's some stuff that was said in those materials. Now you can go to my blog and I have the links to find out more information about these books and to buy them if you are interested. And some of it is so what you would expect. But some of it really touches upon things that I wouldn't even thought of mentioning or really thinking would be important to say. So this is what we got. So source, a being, an entity, matter, consciousness, intelligence. It is the highest consciousness. When we work with the source, we are releasing its divine light. We are working through source. We are working with source side by side, but it is also working through us. And that within itself shows sort of the nature of the source, that it can travel through us. So that shows sort of its matter, its material, but also sort of its intention. One book that I did touch upon did mention the natural laws of the universe. And I thought, hey, that's great. I'll list that too. So the source created the natural laws of the universe, which include the law of love, law of the mind, law of vibration, law of attraction, law of cause and effect, law of balance, and law of use. And with all these laws, we are able to work with the source and to raise our consciousness. That's what it's all about. The only thing that source wants is for us to raise our consciousness and to spread love and hope. And you're probably already doing that. I think that's a big reason why I don't really think that much about the source, because I feel like I'm living my life happily. I feel like that already is an intrinsic thing that I want, is to live happily but also have happiness around me, have positive energy around me. When that isn't in line with what's happening in the moment, then that's when I have to make a choice. That is my opportunity to work with the source, to raise my vibration and to pass along positivity. Another thing that's important about the source is that it has a plan for you. Whether you jive with that plan or not, you already agreed to it, but you have free will. That's the other thing. And so I have actually listed in the blog several things that I have realized before knowing of my psychic mediumship abilities that I feel like are fundamental things about what I felt the source was before the term the source even came in my brain. And it was more of like just kind of universal things. And I did believe in fate, however, and I did believe in an energy of give and take, in that I had to move so far in order for something else to help push me along too. And so that's in my blog. But I think my favorite thing that I mentioned in the blog was the stuff that happened after I realized my psychic and intuitive medium abilities. And really what it came down to is acknowledging the source when it wants my attention, whether that be through synchronicities or working with spirit when it comes to medium sittings or the psychic readings. All of these things are working together due to the hints and the clues that spirit or the source is giving me. Remember, I call it the spirit. But also, on the flip side of that, serving spirit in spreading positivity and raising consciousness. These are things that I do to serve it. And it's funny because I don't think about Source a lot, and it was sort of an unconscious decision to serve. I find it interesting. I am compelled to share this because I think it's an amazing feeling, and I've had an amazing experience in that when I serve spirit and I feel like I'm going with Spirit's plan, I feel like things are flowing so easily. I feel like there's no resistance in my travels, so to say. I feel like I don't have to work as hard, and I can be in the moment more, which really is kind of the meaning of what we're doing here on Earth, is enjoying our time here. Understanding the source helps you to understand your psychic abilities, and I think really what it comes down to is, one, the source is made up of things that takes time to understand and to gain perspective in and to gain definition of for you. I can have a visualization and a feeling and a this, that, and the other of what source is, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, that's my experience. Reading about how religion is taking somebody else's idea and giving it to you to follow. And I feel like with the source, it's the opposite, in that it's an idea you create yourself. And you're going to do that in a couple of different ways. Understanding source is understanding your psychic abilities a little bit more, because you need to raise your consciousness in order to use your psychic abilities, and raising your consciousness gets you closer to the source, which is the highest consciousness. Understanding the source allows you to see its signs, to see how it connects with you, and that takes time, and that takes understanding, that takes trust, and that's something we got to learn to develop, and we're going to start doing that very soon. And this is where I show you the end scene of Monty Python's Meaning of Life, except that's probably illegal and I can't do that. So go to my blog at nextgenmedium.com, see the video clip. Yeah, that's it for the source today, and we're going to get started on getting to know the source. You getting to know the source, you learning to define what the source is for you, because only you can do that. It's your source. It's all of our source, really, but you gotta find your truths, and this is where we get started in doing that. Check in with me next week when we talk about synchronicities, and I'll get to show you examples that I have of synchronicities. And so join me next Tuesday and we'll get started on that. Also, check out the blog. It came out a couple days ago on my website, nextgenmedium.com. Started the whole conversation on this. Yesterday, we got the podcast coming out. You can check out a link to that on my website, nextgenmedium.com. And until then, drop me a hi in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys on the flip side. See you later, and have a great rest of your week. Thank you for joining me and watching this far, and I'll be chatting with you guys soon.